Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Loop. I'm your host, Alex. If you are learning English and you want to feel more confident when you speak, you are exactly where you need to be.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. It is so awesome to be here with you today. Oh my goodness, Alex, I am so excited about today's topic. It is a really big one.
It really is, Lisa. It is probably the most common request we get from our listeners. Today, we are talking about how to sound more like a native English speaker.
Yes, and guys, we want to be very clear right from the start. Sounding like a native speaker does not mean you have to be 100% perfect.
Exactly. It is not about having zero grammar mistakes. It is all about sounding relaxed, natural, and making your words flow easily. And we have some amazing tips to help you do exactly that.
I am totally ready to jump in. But first, a huge thank you to everyone tuning in. If you love our podcast, please take one quick second to hit that like button.
And please hit subscribe so you never miss a new episode of Daily English Loop. Your support means the world to us. All right, Lisa, let's get into it. What is tip number 1?
Tip number 1 is all about connected speech.
Ooh, connected speech. That sounds very technical and fancy.
It sounds fancy, but it is actually super simple. Connected speech just means we don't say every single word separately like a robot. We link the words together.
Ah, I see. So instead of saying, I want an apple, making a big pause, we push them together.
Exactly. Native speakers will say, an apple. The N sound slides right into the A sound. It sounds like one long word.
An apple. Yes, that sounds so much smoother. Do you have another example of that?
Sure. Think about the greeting, good afternoon. A native speaker rarely says, good afternoon. The D from good connects to the A, so it becomes good afternoon.
Wow, good afternoon. It really does make the sentence flow like water. That is a brilliant tip to start with.
It takes a little practice, but it makes a huge difference in how natural you sound. Okay, Alex, what is tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is using reductions and contractions. Native speakers are a little bit lazy, so we like to make words shorter.
Lazy English, I love it. What do you mean by reductions?
A reduction is when we shrink a common phrase. For example, the phrase going to. In a textbook, you read, I am going to the store.
Oh, I know this one. In real life, native speakers almost always say gonna, like I'm gonna go to the store.
Bingo! Gonna is a classic reduction. Another huge one is want to. We reduce it to wanna. I wanna learn English.
Wanna and gonna are everywhere in casual conversation. And what about contractions, Alex? Are those different?
They are very similar. Contractions are when we smash two words together, usually with an apostrophe. So I am becomes I'm, and you are becomes you're.
Ah, yes, and we use negative contractions all the time too. Do not becomes don't, and cannot becomes can't.
Using I'm, don't, and gonna will instantly make your English sound 50% more natural, I promise.
That is such a powerful shortcut. Okay, tip number 3 is about stress. And no, I don't mean feeling stressed out.
Thank goodness. We want zero stress on this podcast. So what kind of stress are we talking about?
We are talking about word stress. In English, we don't say every word with the exact same volume or energy. We emphasize the important words.
Right. We make the important words a little bit louder and longer. It creates the rhythm or the music of the language.
Exactly. For example, if I say, I love this podcast, I'm stressing the word I. That means I love it, even if someone else doesn't.
Ooh, I hear it. What if you stress a different word?
If I say, I love this podcast, the stress is on love. Now I'm showing very strong emotion. I really, really like it.
Wow, that completely changes the feeling of the sentence.
And if I say, I love this podcast, it means I love Daily English Loop, not those other boring podcasts.
I love that example. So paying attention to which words are louder helps you understand the true meaning, and it makes you sound so much more expressive.
Absolutely. Don't speak flatly. Find the music. All right, Alex, what is tip number 4?
Tip number 4 is a really comforting one. It is about regional accents.
Oh, this is a huge topic. There are so many different types of English out there.
Exactly. English from London sounds totally different from English in New York or Sydney or Texas.
So true. So what is the advice for our listeners who are worried about their accent?
The advice is, please stop worrying. There is no single correct English accent. The only goal is to be clear and understood.
I could not agree more. You do not need to force yourself to sound exactly like a Hollywood actor. Your natural accent is a beautiful part of your identity.
Right. As long as you are pronouncing the words clearly, your accent is perfect just the way it is. Be confident in your own voice.
That is such a wonderful reminder, Alex. Okay, moving on to tip number 5, slang.
Oh boy, slang. Slang is super fun, but it can be a little bit dangerous.
It really can be. Slang words are very informal, and they change so incredibly fast.
Yes, what was cool 5 years ago might sound really silly today, but a safe, classic slang word is cool.
Cool will never die. That car is cool, or he is a cool guy. It just means good or nice.
Another great safe one is awesome. The concert last night was awesome. It means fantastic.
What about newer slang, Alex? I hear younger people saying lit a lot, like that party was lit.
Yes, lit means very exciting or excellent. But here's the warning. Only use slang with your friends in casual situations.
Definitely. Please do not look at your boss in a serious meeting and say, your presentation was lit.
Oh my gosh, that would be so embarrassing. So the rule for slang is listen to it to understand it, but be very careful when you use it.
Great advice. All right, tip number 6 is using set phrases. I like to call these language blocks.
Language blocks. I like that visual. What is a language block exactly?
It is a group of words that native speakers always use together. Instead of learning one word at a time, you memorize the whole phrase as one block.
Ah, like the phrase, how are you? You don't think about the grammar of how and are and you just say the whole thing automatically.
Exactly. Another great set phrase is have a nice day. We say it 1,000,000 times a week without even thinking about it.
See you later is another perfect example. Memorizing these blocks makes speaking so much faster because your brain doesn't have to build the sentence from scratch.
It is a huge shortcut to sounding fluent. Learn phrases, not just individual words. Okay, Alex, what is tip number 7?
Tip number 7 is to upgrade your vocabulary with power words.
Power words. Do they give my English super strength?
They kind of do. Power words are strong, descriptive adjectives that replace boring, basic words.
Oh, I see. So instead of always saying something is good, what could I say?
If you're eating dinner, don't just say the food is good, say the food is delicious or the food is amazing.
Delicious sounds so much more expressive than just good. What about negative words? Instead of saying the movie was bad,
You could say the movie was terrible or the movie was awful. It paints a much stronger picture in the listener's mind.
I love that. Instead of big, use huge. Instead of happy, use thrilled. Power words make your stories so much more interesting to listen to.
They really do. Okay, tip number 8 is a surprising one. It's about your speed and your pauses.
This is so important. A lot of learners think that native speakers talk at 100 miles per hour all the time.
That is a huge myth. We do not always talk fast. In fact, if you talk too fast, you sound very nervous.
Right. Confident native speakers actually use pauses. A pause is a tiny moment of silence between sentences or ideas.
Pauses are incredibly powerful. If I say, I have some really big news, that little pause builds so much excitement.
It creates drama. And more importantly, a pause gives your brain a free second to think about the next English word you want to use.
Exactly. Please do not be afraid of silence. Take a breath, pause, and then speak clearly. You will sound so much more natural.
Breathe and pause. I love it. Okay, tip number 9 is understanding the difference between formal English and informal English.
This is crucial for avoiding awkward situations. You have to know your audience.
Yes, informal English is for your friends and family. This is where you use your slang and your reductions. Hey guys, what's up? Want to grab some pizza?
Perfect for a Friday night. But if you are writing an email to a new client or talking to a police officer, you need formal English.
Right. You would say, "Good morning, how are you today? Would you be available for a brief meeting?"
Notice there are no contractions there, no wanna, no what's up. It is polite and complete.
Knowing when to switch between casual and formal is a true sign of advanced fluency.
It really is. And finally, Lisa, bring us home with tip number 10.
Tip number 10 is using natural reactions when you are listening.
Oh, this is my favorite one. Conversation is a two-way street. You can't just stand there like a silent statue when the other person is talking.
Exactly. If I tell you a crazy story about my weekend and you just stare at me without making a sound, I will feel so weird.
I would feel weird too. To sound native, you have to use little reaction words, like, oh, really? Or, wow.
Yes, or even just, uh-huh, or I see, or right. These tiny words prove that you are actively listening and you care about the story.
If someone shares bad news, you can react with, oh no, or that's terrible. It keeps the energy of the conversation alive.
Being a good, active listener makes you a fantastic English speaker. It really connects all the other tips together.
Wow, Lisa, we just covered a massive amount of information today.
We really did. We talked about connected speech, reductions, word stress, ignoring perfect accents, being careful with slang, and using set phrases.
Plus power words, taking pauses, formal versus informal situations, and natural reactions.
Please do not feel overwhelmed, guys. You do not need to master all 10 tips by tomorrow.
Definitely not. Just pick one single thing to focus on this week. Maybe just try saying gonna and wanna a few times.
Or try using one new power word, like delicious instead of good. Small steps lead to big fluency.
Well, that is all the time we have for today's episode of Daily English Loop. This was so much fun, Lisa.
It was an absolute blast, Alex. We really hope these tips help you guys feel more relaxed and confident when you speak.
We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment down below and tell us which of these 10 tips is your favorite.
Which one are you going to practice first? Let us know in the comments.
And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, leave us a like, and share Daily English Loop with a friend.
Thank you all so incredibly much for listening today. Keep practicing and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
See you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.